Johnny Marr, welcome to the Peace Hall.
It's nice to be here. I've heard a lot about it from one or two people, and yeah, so far so good. Staying dry and all that, which is the main thing. It's going to be a nice night, I think.
What do you think of the venue?
Yeah, really nice. I was talking to Mark from the Charlatans about it, and he had exactly the same opinion. You know, over this last year or whatever, you've seen lots of photos of it for social media because the Cult played here.
Yeah.
And I saw Queens of the Stone Age had played here, and they were like, they were really praising it. So you can see these photos from the stage. It's beautiful, an unusual vista from being an English musician. You don't normally see something that looks like a, piazza or something like that. So really nice. I think it's a real success story. Having an environment that's so pretty and seemingly everyone seems to like it, rain or shine. So yeah, I'm quite excited about it.
There can't be many venues in the UK that you haven't played.
Probably not, no. Man and boy. No. I used to like those city halls, Newcastle City Hall and Leicester de Montfort Hall and places like that. And then there's always the famous ones like Glasgow Barrowlands and Manchester Apollo. So I'm glad those places are still going. So this is like a new thing for me. I'm not even sure how long they've been having gigs here. It's like a couple of years or something.
Yeah. From the Smiths to now, is it possible to name the best shows of your life?
There's a few that stand out, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, a couple with Modest Mouse, that American band I was in.
Yeah.
That's to do with the nature of that band. Yeah, there's quite a few Modest Mouse shows because they were. Modest Mouse are particularly good live. Like, there's a lot of it is improvised, so that makes things a little bit always on edge. You can go two ways. So there's a few Modest Mouse shows that were completely off the chart, I just say. And then there was with Hans Zimmer, I've had a couple of really pretty amazing nights.
These are big names, Johnny.
Yeah, they're my pals. I only hang out with people. I only hang out with people who can afford their own orchestras these days, Chris. Because the Pet Shop Boys at the Albert Hall was another one that stands out. I mean, there's some Smith shows that stand out, obviously, like Brixton and stuff like that. So they're at the Albert Hall, Cribs at Reading. So I've been very, very lucky. I've got a lot of really memorable experience, I think. Yeah.
But still a lot to do yet, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, without sort of getting too, a little bit too serious about it. You're just trying to do something great, really. I'm like, whether you achieve that doesn't matter, but you want to do something that's you consider to be up there with as good as your heroes, really. That's the thing with the Smiths. We weren't like, the people we used to revere. In my case, particularly the Velvet Underground and '60s Rolling Stones or whoever it was, Roxy Music. We wanted to be as good as that. We wanted to be as good. We wanted to make records that were that did the same for our audiences that they did for us.
And you did.
Yeah. It turned out, with all these years going by now, it's that seems to have been the case, which is incredible. But that's what you're striving for, and that's what I'm still striving for now, to try and do something that's as good as stuff that I held up there, whether it's Lou Reed or Patti Smith or whoever,
We've spoken before on this subject, and I'm so surprised that you think that you haven't kind of done it all yet, that you still are striving for more.
Yeah. I like practicing. I like practicing the guitar. I like rehearsing with my band. I like trying to be a better singer. And I like sort of, the challenge of writing really good lyrics. I think it's really good for you. And I've been that way since I was 12, really. When I first started writing these little kind of T-Rex knockoffs, so I can't really imagine. Maybe when I get about 70 or something like that, sort of like someone will have to actually say, listen, you need to take your medicine now. You need to sit down. But I've always been that way, I've lived the life of a musician from being like 15, left school at 15 to be a professional musician. I didn't just walk into a job. I mean, there was like a lot of sleeping on floors and all of that business. I love it. I love even the hard bits.
Are you working on anything new now?
Yeah, I've got a couple of new songs that are driving me a bit nuts. Well, actually, we're going to play one tonight called Somewhere, which is coming out in a few weeks. That's one of the latest ones that I've written, but I've got a few on the go at the moment that kind of driving me a bit crazy.
At this point in your career, when you play something new and kind of road test it, are you anxious about what the audience are going to do?
No, I'm not anxious, no. Because, I mean, I don't mean that sound overconfident, but you want, that's the test, right? So you don't, it is the test and it's in their hands. But I'm not anxious about it because I sort of kind of put myself through the ringer enough when I don't want to make it sound like it's a chore, but these new songs that we've been doing, we've got a best of coming out in October, and I wrote a couple of songs for the best of, and because it's a best of, they had to kind of like sound like they were already singles, and it was kind of a bit of a challenge, and so I only put them out once I've gone, look, they're done.
Yeah.
Done. So I feel like they're done, yeah.
How do you handle icon status?
I don't know, I mean, I know what you mean, but I think you just got to surround yourself with people who just don't treat you any differently, I think. I think of myself as a musician, really, Chris. You know what I mean? Just as a working musician.
Yeah.
And, it can go two ways, I mean, people could just switch off. I feel genuinely fortunate to have people's ear. That's the thing. I've got people's ear, like, all right, the fans, and I think that's a major thing for a musician, because there's loads of great musicians who never got anyone's ear. I used to know someone back where I came from, like a couple of really talented young guys, and for whatever reason it didn't really fly for him, and life didn't turn out too well for him, and so I think having people's ear, it stops you complaining, because it stops you complaining that you didn't get to number 3 when everyone said you were going to get to number 3. I only got to number 7 in the album chart. I didn't get to number 1, in the midweek was number 1, or whatever. You can only do however many weeks when you want to do more, or whatever at this kind of level that I found myself at, whatever can sometimes be a bit disappointing. I kind of go, well, there are people out there who sort of going, oh, if you're Johnny Marr's new thing, oh no, what's it like? That to me that's a good kind of starting block to be in, you know what I mean? And then the rest of it, you just have to make decent music, I think.
I love the fact that you seem like you're still excited, like that 15-year-old that you talked about. You still love it, don't you?
Yeah, but being in a band, I love the business of being in a band. Naturally, I like. Not everyone likes rehearsing, and one of the things I like about rehearsing is standing in front of amplifiers. I just like being in rooms with amplifiers and drum kits. I actually like being in that environment with. Sometimes, in this band, it's all guys. I've been in bands with women, Kirsty McCall or Chrissy Hind or whatever. Boys or girls, I don't care, being in a band, as long as there's amplifiers and a drum kit and microphones.
You haven't mentioned guitars.
Oh, well, the guitars are everywhere anyway, guitars are everywhere. But the business of being in a band I like, I like the ephemera, I like I like the equipment, I like that everyone wears similar clothes, I like obviously making music, but I like all the stuff connected with being in a band.
Yeah.
And I did when I was a little boy. It was like, when I first saw this sort of Irish show band, kind of cabaret band. We used to have these parties when I was a little kid, christenings and weddings and all of that business. And the second time that this same band turned up in this pub, in a room above a pub, I watched them set the gear up. Would have been about 7 or 8, and I clocked, that's a job. When I clocked that was an occupation, and I watched them setting the gear up before they even played a note. I thought, that looks good. I like musical equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, I like everything about it. Yeah.
Finally, Johnny, any surprises in store for tonight's show at the Peace Hall?
Yeah, there's going to be a couple of surprises. So I'm told. So surprising, it might even be a surprise for me, Chris. Yeah, well, Tim's around, and I played on a couple of Charlatans tracks now over the years, so I have to try and remember D minor to A, F flat, F, and then there's a G minor somewhere in there, I think. I say there's a G minor in my future. Mark and his pesky chords. Yeah, but I love watching and hearing Mark Collins play.
Yeah,
He's all British guitarists, all guitarists of a certain period, but you all really respect Mark Collins.
Yeah,
you know, he's one of those kind of just sort of very cool guys. He always delivers, doesn't make a big deal of it, but he's very important. He's such an unassuming guy, you know, but he knows he's good.
that's high praise from you, though.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, he's one of the best, Mark Collins, yeah.
Johnny Marr, thank you so much.
All right, Chris, nice to see you as always, yeah.